Oh, we do have with us our Rise analyst, Dayo Sobowale, right here in studio. Before we go to the discussion for the day, Mr. Sobowale, it's good to have you. I'm sure you heard a bit of what our correspondents had to say about the protests being largely peaceful or peaceful completely in Kaduna and Lagos State. But now the demand in Lagos is that the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu must make the appearance and address the protesters tomorrow. What do you make of what's played out today?
Well, I didn't hear what was being said. But I think towards the end, they said the governor will address them. That's okay. It's been a peaceful protest, and I had something like people went back to their offices. That's democracy at play, in spite of the apprehension of many people and in spite of the warnings of the police. See, the fear of the police and the fear of many people was that the thing would be hijacked, but it has not been hijacked. So democracy is having its day on the streets. That's how it should be. The majority must have its way, and the minority must have its say. That dissension, politics is okay. No violence. I'm happy about it. They can even carry on for a week. As long as they do not disturb other people going about their own business.
Right.
We too are doing like they do in Europe and all these places. There are people who go to demonstrate and come back in one piece and not end up like a gyro the other time. So that's my take.
That's right. Well, continuing our conversation, which is, of course, focusing on the spirit of democracy, let's turn to our discussion for the day, which is all about the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the Edo State election. That's Asue Ighodalo. He has tasked other parties' candidates to engage in an issue-based campaign and refrain from messages that promote division and disunity. While congratulating the governorship candidates of the All Progressives Congress and the Labour Party, Senator Monday Okpebholo and Olumide Akpata on their emergence as candidates for their respective parties, Ighodalo says he believes that Edo's strength was the unity of her people. Of course, Mr. Sobowale, we do continue our conversation and shift our attention to Edo State now. Now, let's begin our conversation, Mr. Sobowale, from what we saw transpiring in the primaries. All three parties are guilty of having complicated primaries. I use the word complicated intentionally. Given what we saw that showed the temperature of internal party democracy, do you think that there will be a gentlemanly attitude when it's now party against party at the actual election?
I think there will be. There are three gentlemen on the field, two lawyers and one other person. But you see, my brief here is what Asue said, that there should be sportsmanship in politics, and people should not use denigrating, abusive language when they are competing against each other. I welcome that appeal. I know Asue Ighodalo personally, and if I have my way for an Edo citizen, I will vote for him. Do you get me now? Somebody was mentioning Lagos boys, yeah, the other time. Asue is a Lagos boy. He went to Kesi, Olumide Akpata, so Lagos boy. We went to King's College. So they have Lagos boys all over the place. But the issue Asue raised is worth listening to. And then to come back to your own assessment, you get me, the way the primaries were conducted. I think, like I said, of the concluded one the other time, that was democracy at work. And there you see, you have to learn from our own democracy. See, the APC, they gave the certificate of performance of election to their candidate on Saturday. Despite the fact that somebody is threatening to go to court, that's in Dayo, and the PDP are giving theirs today, and you know, the former deputy governor is still there. And of course, you have two or three others still in APC. But that is the structure and the democratic process, both in those states and in Nigeria at large. You conduct primaries, you conduct election. After primaries, you can go to court. After election, you can go to court. But the time constraints are always there. And that's what distorts tenure of office in various places. But then I'm happy the way things are working out, because democracy is work in progress, a dynamic thing. And being a human phenomenon, because human beings are involved, you can never predict what can happen. It's a game of numbers. So people aim for the higher number to secure office. And if you play it well, you get it. And if you don't get it, if they maltreat you or run the rules against you, the court can make redress for you. That is democracy at work. So you are getting it right. Right.
Seems like a good day, doesn't it? Well done, Mr. Sobowale.
Yeah.
Of course, you've exposed that as he was a Lagos boy and a product of King's College. But, you know, what he said was reminiscent of what we often see that's signed in the peace accord. Do you think that his call for sportsmanship is an indicator of what we might actually see, or will set the tone for what we'll see unfold at the gubernatorial polls when it's time?
Yes. He has raised the bar in terms of, how do I put it, in terms of honor and integrity in the process and mutual respect. He has raised the bar. And I'm not surprised at him. You see, his mother was the first permanent secretary in the old Western region, first female permanent secretary, Afolake Ighodalo. That's history. So his pedigree is there. And I'm sure they all have solid pedigrees. And let me tell you one thing. You have more ethnic groups in Edo, the former Bendel state. That's why they speak good English. They never have a common language like the Yorubas have, like the Igbo have, because there are so many. So that's why they speak pidgin English, and they are good at English. And that's why even BBC has BBC pidgin. You get me? So they are highly educated people. They can see fractures when they disagree. You get me? When they disagree eloquently and argue eloquently and intelligently. It's a very, very vibrant political system. And the fact that one of them is asking for mutual respect is to create a more sedate climate for competition, because politics is competition at the end of the day. And that if you lose, you don't wish the worst thing to happen to the winner, which somehow is what is happening at the level you know. Let's stop it here from now.
Well, when we're talking about, the spirit of competitiveness, especially in Edo State, of course, 2020, the election in 2020 is still a very, very vivid reference point. We saw that it was a very hard-fought battle, and the vitriol was apparent. Some pockets of violence and so forth. It was a hard-fought election in many ways. Now, I refer to it because this time around, we've seen the spread of the influence of godfatherism, and some people are saying that two personas who determine the tone of this election are not on the ballot. That's the governor, the current sitting governor, Obaseki, and of course the former national chairman for APC, Adams Oshomole. Do you think with these two big personalities in the background, playing godfather roles, for lack of a better word, that this election might turn to be more brutal than expected?
Why are you using the word brutal?
Because it's the direct opposite of us being civil and gentlemanly.
No. See, these two lawyers and the gentleman are competing. And you are talking of godfatherism. You see, you don't respect the personality of the candidates. You see, you think they are puppets, they can be manipulated. I disagree. Again, I will mention also Ighodalo, chairman of a bank, great corporate lawyer, who's been on the field for a long time.
Who's also said to be Obaseki's chosen candidate.
Who?
Ighodalo.
Who said that?
This is what...
Look, don't bring your... You see, I'm an analyst. I try to be objective. And if you are... Don't make insinuations. You get me? Let us have a level playing field to do analysis. You get me? I'm sure the former governor, the trade unionists, will never come out and say it's godfather to one person or the other. Somebody brought him up too. Politics is a game of association, caucuses, friendship, broking and lawyer. So I do not see what you see in that regard. Please.
Well, we'd like to thank you for your time as always and your positivity, Mr. Dayo Sobowale. Thank you for joining us here on Newsday.